Blah. Hey, what's going on? You know, before I even get started, I want to say it was a good time. Despite some of the shortcomings that I perceived at the festival, you really can't go wrong. It really is throw a rock at the ground, you're not going to miss. The weather was great. It was supposed to rain later, but the good thing is the venue was literally under a bridge. We were under a bridge. The venue is called Under the K, which is the K Bridge or whatever. It's a great concept, but I will say that because of the shape that they were working with at the festival, it was kind of awkward. I think the stages were more spread out than perhaps they needed to be. You had 3 stages. There was the main CBGB stage. Then there was the Young Punks stage, which was presented by Ed Hardy, which I thought was really funny. And then there was Hilly's stage. And I guess, you know, the CB stage was kind of like the main attraction stage, and all of those bands had played CBGBs. The Young Punk stage obviously was full of bands that were too young to have played CBGBs. And then Hilly's stage was, I guess, made up mostly of bands, a mixture of both bands that hadn't played CBGBs and bands that are, you know, the old guard of CBGBs. You know, Gorilla Biscuits, Marky Ramone, Murphy's Law, Cro-Mags, just to name a few off the top of the dome. I mean, and then on the CB stage, every one of those bands played at CBGBs. The Melvins, the Lunatics, I'm sure Johnny Marr played at CBGBs. I know the Damned did. Jack White for sure played at CBGBs with the White Stripes. And of course, Iggy Pop played at CBGBs. The Stooges never played at CBGBs, but Iggy Pop most certainly played at CBGBs at one time or another. So here's the thing, like the layout was awkward. There were good things about it too. So here's what was problematic. If you're at the CBGB stage and you've just watched a band and you want to go to Hilly stage, you have to walk all the way across and cut through like lots of crowds and vendors and all sorts of stuff to get to the other stage. And maybe I'm making a bigger deal about it than it needs to be. But, you know, particularly if there was a band that you really had an affinity for, you would really have to compete to get up front, and then to leave and go see a band and you're like ping ponging. It doesn't work. And the truth of the matter was that I saw how far Hilly's stage was, and I looked at all those bands, and I was like, you know what? I've seen Murphy's Law. I've seen a version of the Cro-Mags. I would have loved to have seen Marky Ramone. I don't need to see the Gorilla Biscuits. I never even went to Hilly's stage. I just didn't even bother.
Posters and promo cards, there's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads, we can print on shirts, we can print on hats, we can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality, quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support, great customer service, and so much more. We are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RIOTstickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb.
I kept alternating between the CB stage and the Young Punk stage, and that was fine. And I saw a ton of bands. However, there were very few full sets that I got to see because the sets overlapped, and that was probably my biggest beef of all. So I came in and I was on my way to go see the Melvins, and I caught this band, the Molotovs. And the Molotovs are a very, very young, new band. The brother and a sister, I guess the drummer, I was doing a little reading about them. The drummer is interchangeable, I think. The drummer isn't in the band. It's a brother-sister duo, and they are fantastic. I was going to see the Melvins, and I stopped to watch the Molotovs, and I was just transfixed. I think I missed like the half of the first song. And I stayed for the whole set. I stayed for the whole set. In fact, what happened was, I'll tell you exactly what happened. I think I went to see a song or two of the Molotovs, went to the Melvins, watched a couple of songs, and then went back to the Molotovs, right? That's what happened, actually. I caught the first song of the Molotovs, went to see the Melvins. So far away, I couldn't even get up front. Meanwhile, there's like not that many people at the Molotovs, because at the end of the day, I think they were added to the bill at the very last moment. They're not in any of the advertising for this show, so they were just added on. So there was nobody there. So I ended up leaving the Melvins and going back to just watch the rest of the Molotov set. And I was so glad that I did, because I got to go right up front. I was transfixed, actually. I was transfixed. both of them were great, the brother and the sister, but the sister she's a star. I told her that too. I told her after the show, she was hanging up by the sign. I was just like, you're incredible, man. She's going to be a star. Like, this woman just, I could not believe her stage presence. It was bizarre. It was a little weird. She was making these weird faces. She had all these bass, moves with her bass and like all this choreographed. Like, you could tell, I don't know, I almost kind of feel like they come from a show business family or something. Like, I don't know why. I just have that feeling that there's just something about her movements and the way she executed. She looked very, very well rehearsed. And I don't say that as a criticism. I say that as someone who clearly has taken their craft very seriously. And both of them did. And they were tight. And obviously they're related, they're brother and sister, but not like in like a White Stripes kind of way, which is also weird because they weren't actually related and they were married. That's a whole other story. They had like this really great chemistry. They had great hooks in their songs. She was doing the Wayne Kramer guitar sniper thing. And I literally was glued. I could not, I was like, wow. I don't know what it was. She was doing the shuffle. She's playing the bass in high heels. And all I could think of is actually Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, these guys in these platforms to perform and to move across the stage, and it's hot and trying to like win over the crowd. You know why I say that they felt very rehearsed? She was very aware of cameras. I guess anybody who's on stage is going to be aware of cameras. She was like looking like to just do the best pose in front of the camera. And she did. Like, I don't say that as a criticism at all. Like, I say that as like, wow, like she knew what she was doing. And the dude, the front man dude, I don't know his name. I don't know what any of their names are. He was more focused on just being like the front man kind of. She, typically, a lot of bass players are very like, sort of statuesque. They don't really move around. She was like, I'm going to be the opposite of everything that you think about a bass player. And I was in awe. I was enamored. I was like blown away. I just stood there transfixed, like looking. And that to me is a testament to a good band. And then when they were done, he was doing press immediately off the side of the stage. And they're opening for Iggy. Okay. So that's what I thought was interesting too. They're opening for Iggy in DC. It's the first time in America. I asked her, she said that it was their first time in America. And they're opening for Iggy, but I don't don't know. I guess maybe that's how they got on the bill here. I don't know. I didn't ask about that. I think they're going to be huge, and they deserve to be huge. And their next single's coming out on Halloween, and their first record is going to be out. And everybody should go check out the Molotovs. Really cannot say enough positive things. It just was something that I was just not intending. I wasn't expecting to see that, right? And the Melvins, listen, the Melvins were great too. It was cool to see the Melvins, and I love the double drum thing. It's hypnotic. The Grateful Dead do this as well with the double drum thing. I find it so interesting that the Melvins and the Grateful Dead are the two bands that do the double drum thing, but it works, man. It works really well. And of course, King Buzzo, he's like a wizard, and he dresses kind of like a wizard too. He's like Mickey Mouse in the Sorcerer's Apprentice, but he ditched the pointy hat. And so then I went and I saw right after the Molotovs, I stayed at the Young Punk stage and I saw this band Pink Shift. I was not really into it, if I'm being honest. The food trucks were cool. They had a couple of food trucks. I made sure to eat early when there wasn't any line. Another attraction that they had pieces of CBGBs, like the actual CBGBs. And for me, I thought it was weird. It was like bittersweet to me as somebody who got to go to the real CBGBs in the final years as a youngster.
There's something so perverse about this. This is so strange to me.
I was like the last generation that got to experience CBGBs.
Like, it's just so grotesque. This is grotesque. I'm sorry.
Which I feel, honored that I even had that privilege, because there's so many. And I guess that's the thing that's the big takeaway I guess I have from this, is that there are kids and people or whoever that never got to go to the original CBGB. So to them, like, it's like a place of cultural significance. And
it's strange because to like actually have been there and been in that space, and now here it is decades later, commodified for a festival that's sponsored by Ed Hardy. It's just goofy, man. I don't know.
You're going to want to like see the relics. It's relics, it's relics of culture.
And maybe I'm the biggest goofball of all because I bought a ticket, right?
It's just funny to see the urinals that, I once peed in, and I made that joke a whole bunch.
This is so funny to me. Look at this. Look at this. This is hilarious.
Very cringe. It was a very cringe joke. I was like, I remember back when you used to be able to pee in those urinals.
How about that? The infamous bathroom. Yes, indeed.
But it's like, it's true, man. Like, and now there's like a display that you want to take a picture with this urinal. It's just kind of funny to me.
I've peed in those toilets. It's too funny. This is so funny.
And watching everybody like take their selfies, like,
I mean, for some people, they never got to go or see this place, so it's like
somebody else said
it's something. It's something for some people.
Well, you better,
right?
I took video of them taking, and listen, I took a selfie too. Okay, I took a selfie, so I'm a hypocrite, but I'm a self-aware hypocrite. Like, I recognize.
I love this. This is like such a cosmic joke. I mean, they come up and I did it too. Come on, it's funny. It's funny to me.
So as goofy as it was, I participated. Okay, so there you go. All right, so back to Pink Shift. Yeah, I was not feeling this band. I just was not. I don't know what it was. They were more like metallic, I guess, more like hardcore breakdown, almost. I don't know how to describe them instrumentally. Just didn't really. They were very tight. They were very they had good chemistry. It just was not my thing. And so I left Pink Shift to go catch the Lunatics at the CBGB stage. Now, what was really cool was the Lunatics were talking in between songs, and they brought up Louise. Louise was Hilly Kristal, who ran CBGBs. Louise was Hilly's like secretary, I guess, the booking assistant. I don't know who she was, but my friends who used to play CBGBs in a band, they had a song called Pick Up the Phone, Louise, which was about, they would call Louise because they were trying to get booked at CBGBs. They would sing to themselves, pick up the phone, Louise, pick up. And that turned into a song. They wrote a song called Pick Up the Phone, Louise. And it's a great song. It's a great tune.
Pick up the phone, Louise. Pick up the phone, Louise. Pick up the phone, Louise.
they used to play that at CBGBs. I would see them, we would go, it would be like Tuesday during the day, like nobody was there, but like, which was what we read about in Legs McNeil's book, PKM, like that's what we read about. Like it was that kind of vibe.
And this was the Rosetta Stone for exploring this whole swath of music.
It's still 30 years after, that had all began with television in the 70s and 73, right? So it was kind of cool to like experience that through our own prism as kids. And to hear the Lunatics mention Louise and talk about how she was tough as nails and they were afraid of her. And it just cracked me up because I just had this, like, it made me think of this very inside baseball thing that nobody would care about.
You want to know how we're doing?
Trump. And with that said, misdemeanor, I'm a fake, a mishapful, I adore you. It's not a mystery, I don't wanna know you. Miss America, I can't ignore you. Yeah, right now, while I progress, we know
fucking fuck. So angry. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Song called Don't Want You.
So I left the Lunatics a little bit early because, again, everything overlapped slightly. You couldn't see a full set without sacrificing a bit of another set. If you wanted to get good placement, you had to leave a little bit early. So to me, this was the biggest flaw of the festival, and it was a pretty big flaw. That was a pretty big faux pas, if you ask me. I went to go see the Lambrini Girls, who I had mispronounced as the Lamborghini Girls, because if you read it, if you kind of sight read that word Lambrini, it kind of almost looks like Lamborghini. And, so the Lambrini Girls, I had never listened to them before, but I had heard good things. They are a powerful band, a powerful power trio, very, very loud. They play very loud. in the first 10 minutes, they just sort of captured everybody by making everybody sit on the ground. And I thought that was really cool.
New York, how we feeling? Alright, I would like you to make some space, left and right. Alright, if you were able to get down on the floor like this with me, please do. If you are unable due to injury or disability, you are exempt. But if you can't get on the floor, please get on the fucking floor.
Kind of reminded me of that story that Jack Grisham tells about everybody sitting down. If everybody sits down, and they can't arrest everybody at a TSOL show. One of the last TSOL shows in '83 before Jack and Greg left the band and Todd left the band. You know, that's what they did.
Pretty man. That white knight is getting pretty fucking irritating considering it's nothing but performative. Criticality, should I be the one crossing the streets? I'm scared of the man right behind me. He really thinks he's big. Criticality, I'm catching on to my keys as soon as it hits 7:30. As it's my summer's must be start home safely. Criticality, once again, no apologies for your fucked up behaviour. When at the end of the day.
Here they are, and they're talking about like these agreements, like, do we mosh at a punk show, like all these sort of things.
New York, do you like to have fun? Did you come here to see a punk show? Do you agree that we mosh at punk shows? What do you do if you see someone fall over in a mosh pit? What do you do? Okay, stay there for 2 seconds. Whoa, get back down! No. New York, you ready to have some fun? Yeah! Alright. It's not fucking bad!
It was cool. It was really sort of it was like a community thing. The songs weren't very catchy, but they had like this hypnotic droning quality that I did appreciate. I did enjoy that. They were just very, very loud. Now, I had purchased earplugs because I'd forgotten to bring mine from home, and they gave me, I paid $5 for 2 sets of these earplugs that were very effective, but they're from the venue Under the K, and they're biodegradable. Like, they're made out of this fuzz stuff that biodegrades, but when you compress them into your ear, they got lodged in my ear canal and they were stuck. They were stuck in my ear canal. The first pair, they're so flimsy, you take them out, they're done, they're cashed. So you have to use the second pair. So I took out the first pair after some time because they just gotten so shitty, and I'd take them out because I was bumping into so many people. I was bumping into a ton of people. The first person I bumped into, I saw Monty Oxymoron, the keyboard player of the Damned. He was walking to the bathrooms And right next to the bathrooms is where they had the bathroom display. And so I got a picture with Monty. And I will say this, super big plus positive of the CBGB's festival. The bathroom situation was exquisite. I mean, first of all, it was pretty clean, like relatively clean for a porta potty situation. There was never a line for bathrooms. They had so many stalls. There was just never a line. I never waited once to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom multiple friggin' times. I was blown away by that. I mean, that was really, really, really impressive to me. I was kind of blown away. And so, like I said, I was taking the fuzz out of my ear because I would, I would periodically bump into people. I bumped into people that know me from YouTube. I bumped into people that I knew from Facebook, just whatever. Like, I just was bumping into people. I had to like reapply those earbuds. I'll save the rest of that. Put a pin in that for a moment as I continue on and tell you about how I went to go see Johnny Marr. He is the guitar player for the Smiths. And I thought that was pretty cool. I had only recently sort of explored the catalog of the Smiths. I had always heard of the Smiths. The Smiths are, when people talk about the Smiths, they have this sort of stigma for being like this like whiny, like mopey dopey kind of band. And when I actually listened to them, I was like, oh, no, these songs, catchy kind of like mopey, whatever songs, but whatever, like emo before emo, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna put your phone down for this one. You don't want to see this one.
And Johnny Marr is the guitarist. It's Morrissey and Johnny Marr. I guess that's the big faction in that band, right? One of those famous bands that are never going to get back together. And, Morrissey is difficult. I don't think Johnny Marr is difficult. I think Morrissey, I don't know. I don't know if maybe everybody's difficult. I will say, though, at Riot Fest, after I saw the Misfits at Riot Fest, we waited nearly an hour for Morrissey to go on. I saw one song and I just left. I was like, I don't even need to see the rest of this. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just going to bounce. So I ended up not watching Morrissey's set. I watched just one song from it. So I was like, all right, let me listen to Johnny Marr. Johnny Marr, he played a bunch of Smith songs. I got to hear the 2 Smith songs that I really wanted to hear, and I recorded them. So that was cool. And then I went back over to the, I just kept hopping back and forth. I left Johnny Marr a little bit early because I wanted to see Teen Mortgage. I listened to Teen Mortgage a whole bunch on Spotify. They were a lot better. I hate to say this, but they were not that great live. Did not really care for them at all. Just was, I don't know, it was kind of whack. And so I watched a few songs and bounced because the motherfucking Damned were going on. I don't care who was playing. I'll be honest, I didn't really have any interest to see Harley's Chrome Mags. So I caught a few songs of Teen Mortgage and then I went over to the Damned. Of course I was literally there for the Damned, right? That was one of the reasons why I bought my ticket. And the Damned, you know, you can't go wrong with the Damned, you know.
Good evening.
Between the Damned and Iggy Pop and the fact that I'd never seen Jack White, I was like, all right, so this will be interesting. This will be good. And the Damned, they played a truncated set, obviously, but they played some great songs. They played Eloise.
Goodbye. We've loved seeing you.
He damn right I fucking made it. Hey.
Good evening. Now it's getting done.
He's asking me, you make it to the show.
Every night I'm there, she knows I'm there. I'm always there, and heaven knows. I hope she does. I'm hard to realize that what's in her eyes is dying now. You know she's crying now. Whatever night I'm there, I'm in my heart. Is like the stars that please the night. Sun makes the day, lights the way. And when that star goes by, I hold it in my hands and call.
They played Ignite.
15 minutes later. Well, on that one shot, thought that I heat blood rushing to my head. No pleasure tonight in lying in bed. Like a candle man, misting night, I'm gonna set the world alight.
They played Neat, Neat, Neat. They played Love Song. They opened with Love Song. I just was having so much fun in the pit. I didn't realize that I was just jacking up my back, like really bad. 39 years old, jacking up my back. Just not a good combination. Stupid, Jeff. Very, very stupid. What can you do? The Damned closed with a cover of White Rabbit and went in to smash it up. Just a great way to end the set. I think I had seen them do White Rabbit before. They just do a great version of it. That was awesome.
Let's go, Ethan! Right? songs!
Have you enjoyed yourselves?
Play 100 more!
A bunch of old men, a bunch of old women. Thank you very much. And it's good night, and it's night.
And then I went and did probably the most unpunk thing you can do. I laid down on the ground because my back was hurting. And I was waiting for Jack White to begin. I was like, oh, God. And I hate to say this. It's going to sound like I'm talking shit, and I am talking shit. That's the truth. Jack White was boring, dude. He was friggin' boring. I love Jack White. I love the White Stripes. The music was good. The band was good. It was just, I don't know how else to describe it. It was boring. I was bored. I was bored watching him. You know, they were jamming. It was interesting to watch them jam. It just did not excite me. I caught a little bit of the set. I left.
I'm gonna get you to far from this hour of the river mall. Come on, down and work the shop and make a sweat drip out of every pool.
And then I came back. Now, here was the big sin of the fest, right? This is where my biggest beef of all. So the Sex Pistols had to cancel because Steve Jones had broken his wrist. Fair enough. Fine. I get it. That's like an act of God. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Steve Jones, he's got to rest his wrist. However, I think that the move, and maybe, you know, obviously it's up to the band, I think the better move would have been to go on with the show, get a friggin' have, you know, Steve Jones, like be on the stage, sing with Frank, and have somebody playing guitar as a backup so we could still get our fucking Pistols, man. We didn't get the Pistols. So they never replaced the Pistols. And I wonder if that's why the Molotovs partially were on. Like, were the Molotovs supposed to be the substitute for the Pistols? Again, Molotovs, highlight of the entire festival for me. But you can't use the Molotovs to replace a heavy hitter like the Pistols. It just doesn't work. There was no replacement. And it's my understanding that they were still advertising the show with the old materials. I don't know that for a fact, but I was told when we were driving in the car. I was driving my friend Rich and with her buddy Steve, and somebody mentioned in the car, hey, like they were advertising that as little as 3 weeks ago. Like that kind of blows my mind. That's chutzpah right there. They should have replaced the Pistols. Instead, they kind of awkwardly, I don't know if they extended set times. Maybe they extended Iggy Pop and Jack White's set times. Maybe that's what happened. But like, it was not a good fix. Like yes, it was great that Iggy Pop played from 9:30 to 10:45, which he did at 78 years old. More on that in a second. But Jack White, like it was too much, man. He played for an hour and 15 minutes and it was a slog. He played Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground. He played Icky Thump, which I love. I love Icky Thump. He played Seven Nation Army. He did not play enough White Stripe songs, in my opinion.
what he loves the most.
Like, sure, Jack White has his own catalog of music, but people came there because they want to hear White Stripes. That's the bottom line. Still, it was cool to see Jack White. I was glad to have seen Jack White. However, losing the Pistols and having that much Jack White, too much Jack White, just too much. And then we had to wait a whole half hour. Now, here was the other, this really annoyed me. I wanted to see the Linda Lindas on the Young Punk stage, and I wanted to see Marky Ramone on Hilly stage because I've never seen Marky Ramone. And I did not see either because I wanted to be front and center for Iggy Pop. And so we had to wait an hour. And that's when my friend Nick showed up. And so we were hanging. Earlier in the day, I had bumped into Tish and Snooki from Sick Fucks and Tish and Snooki's Manic Panic line. I mean, just punk rock royalty. I used to see the Sick Fucks play at the CBGB, at the Max's Kansas City reunions. Just a really great band produced by Andy Chernoff of the Dictators. Just a great songs. Chop, Chop, Chop of Your Mother, Insects Rule My World, Spanish Bar Mitzvah. You can't go wrong. Rock or Die. You can't go wrong with Sick Fucks. They're just the best. And then I also saw Steve Conti from the New York Dolls. Now, obviously, he's not the original Dolls because all of the Dolls are gone. But Steve Conti and Sammy Yaffa and Brian, what's-his-face, who was the drummer, they're all that's left of the Dolls, man. They're literally it. So, like, Steve, he carries the torch. He really carries the torch. I was happy to see him there. I thought that was really great. He was representing, like, he was part of the reunion lineup, but, like, you know, he was representing at CBGB's. You know, I thought that was cool.
I'm doing a video right now on this. We're under a bridge.
So I didn't see the Linda Lindas. I didn't see Marky Ramone.
A lot of people are coming. This is the premier Stoogeaholic right here. Hell yeah.
And I waited for Iggy Pop, and Iggy came on. And let me tell you, between The Damned and Iggy Pop, like, alone, it just was just tremendous.
And hopefully we'll get some good videos. We're about to see Iggy! Iggy. And what a set list it is. Yeah.
It's raining right now.
And Jack White was here.
Jack White,
pants were down. I passed out. Hey!
Tremendous. I've seen Iggy Pop 3 times before. I saw him on the post-Pop Depression tour. I saw him twice with the Stooges, and this backing band that he had, both times I've seen him with the backing band, were amazing. His backing band in 2016 was also amazing. This backing band was incredible. He had a horn section. They were singing backups to Lust for Life, and it was perfect, man. It was really perfect. And there's Iggy at 78 years old with a crippling scoliosis that makes one of his legs 1.5 inches shorter than the other. I said this before, and I'll say it again. The guy is a contemporary of the Beatles. Okay. He's been performing live since 1963, first as a drummer and then as a frontman since 1967. He's been doing it for over 60 years. He was there before everybody else came, before everybody else who was there at this festival, for all of them. He was there doing it before they were born, before their parents were born. He was there doing it. And now here he is closing out. alpha and the omega. He is the ultimate. And I'll tell you, he put 150%. You tell me what other 78-year-olds are rolling around on the floor with their shirt off, barking like a dog. There was one point, I swear to God, there was one point where he really seemed like he was going to stage dive. It really looked like it. Now, the last time I'd seen him stage dive was about 10 years ago, 9 years ago on the post-pop depression tour. He was 70 years old and he stage dived twice. 70 years old stage diving. The guy who invented stage diving. He invented, you realize. He didn't invent stage diving. I'm sure people had stage dived, but in the modern understanding of what a stage dive is as it relates to performing music, Iggy Pop invented that. There was no stage diving before Iggy Pop, at least none that we know about, right? And so the guy who invented it, here he is. Just like still up there, still doing it. It didn't feel, you would think on paper, wow, he's got his shirt off. It's kind of pathetic. He looks kind of, he's old. And it's like, dude, there's nothing more genuine than Iggy Pop being Iggy Pop. Like, this is who he is. And you could see it. There's an authenticity. There's always been an authenticity with Iggy Pop. That you just don't see with other, shock rockers. This is why I always, when I do have to compare and contrast someone like G.G. Allin with Iggy Pop, because G.G. Allin, he's just aiming for the lowest common denominator. He's doing it on purpose. He's taking laxatives ahead of the show. With Iggy Pop, there's an unpredictability. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's a result of him being possessed by the rock and roll demons that are inside of him, and he just feels the need to express himself and do things. And even at 78, he's throwing. He's throwing mic stands on the stage and he's throwing his microphone into the crowd. He did that at the end and people are like talking into it. And then, there was this moment, and it's a moment that nobody else would give a shit about, but I could see off on the sidelines. There's Dave Vanian and Jack White, who just performed, who just opened up for him, who are there at the sidelines in awe of Iggy, the way that we are, just watching this god, this leathery god perform. And, you know, the pit was fun. The first time I'd seen Iggy, and I've told this story before, my tooth was knocked out. Someone punched me in the face and shattered part of my tooth. And now here I was 21 years later, you know, and it's funny, like this was a crazy thing to wrap my mind around. Okay, let me try and phrase this just right. 20 years ago, Iggy was 20 years older than I am now performing on the stage. And here I am with my lower back all jacked up. I just felt so inferior to this fucking leathery rock god. It will be a fucking dark day of rock and roll when Iggy does finally shuffle loose the mortal coil. But I mean, he has this rock and roll spirit that can't be killed. It's true. Like Jim Osterberg will one day die. He will shuffle loose the mortal coil because he is mortal. But Iggy Pop can't be killed. He literally cannot be killed. It's like he once said when he hung like King Kong from the side of a stage scaffolding after someone threw a bottle at his head, causing him to profusely bleed, and he screamed, "You can't kill me. I'm Iggy fucking Pop." And the set was perfect. I couldn't have asked for a more perfect Iggy Pop set. He opened with Teenage Eye. He played 1970. He played Down on the Street. I Gotta Write, Search and Destroy. He played Death Trip. Oh my God, he played Death Trip. Some Weird Sin, Lust for Life, The Passenger. I would have loved to have heard 16. That's okay. It was a packed set. Of just incredible songs. I was really hoping he was going to play the punk rocker song, I'm a Punk Rocker, Yes I Am. He didn't do that. I know he had been doing that on his tours. The band was incredible. He just had a really good backing band, you know, just really, really good. And it was a great show, man. It was a great scene. I would do it again next year, but the difference that I would do is I would wait till the very last moment to get tickets, because I heard the tickets really dropped in price in a big bad way. That might not happen this next time around. I don't know. The very last thing that I did as I was walking out, I walked by the Young Punk stage, and Destroy Boys were still playing the last bit of their set. And Destroy Boys, all-girl band with a boy drummer, and they covered One Way or Another by Blondie. That was fun to see. And that's how I ended the night. And that was it. But what had happened was I had gotten these earplugs stuck in my ear. They were jammed so deep. During Iggy Pop's set, I took a key from my chain while the passenger is playing. I'm trying to unwedge this like massive cotton that was all the way into my ear canal. I was able to get one of them out, but I wasn't able to get the other one out. So this year was blocked and this year was not. I didn't mind. I was having a good time, but it was crazy. When the show ended, my friend Rich, who I drove in with, he took a pair of tweezers that I had that I keep on my thing. I have like a multi-tool that has tweezers. And he had to pull the earbud out of my ear. It was all the way dug into my canal. When he did, I could feel how deaf I was in one ear and how like Like one ear was fine because it still had the jammed in earbud and the other one was not. And that was crazy too. And that's it. That's it. That was the show. No regrets. No regrets. So glad I went to the CBGB Festival, except that definitely wait to buy your tickets for sure. Come back next year with the Sex Pistols, please. Please. All right. That's it. Thank you. Peace. Hair grease. We'll see you next time.